You're watching Quicklet, the place where questions you never thought to ask turn into answers you'll never forget. Subscribe if you're curious enough to keep digging deeper. Now, imagine this. You wake up one morning, and something feels off. Not wrong exactly, but strange. The sunlight seems to unpour through the window. The birds outside aren't chirping, they're sucking sound back into their beaks. And when you speak, your words rewind into silence. Time has started moving backward. But what does that even mean? We live our entire lives assuming time flows in one direction. Forward. Cause, then effect. Past, then present, then future. But here's the strange part, physics doesn't actually care which way time moves. Most laws of nature work just as well forward or backward. A ball thrown through the air looks basically the same in reverse, mathematically speaking. So why do we only ever experience time going forward? The answer lies in something called entropy. Entropy is the idea that systems tend to go from order to disorder. Think of a clean room slowly getting messy. Or a hot cup of coffee cooling down. Things spread out, mix, fall apart. That's entropy increasing. This direction, from less entropy to more, is what gives time its arrow. It's why we remember yesterday but not tomorrow. It's why you can break a glass but not unbreak it. Now imagine if entropy started decreasing instead. That would mean time itself is reversing. So let's follow that thought. What if it really happened? You wouldn't age, you'd unage. You'd move from adult to teenager to child to baby. But here's the catch, your memories would rewind too. So you wouldn't remember your future. You'd only recall what's coming next in reverse time, which, to you, would feel like the past. It wouldn't feel like you were going backward. It would feel totally normal. That's what makes this idea so bizarre. If time reversed completely, we probably wouldn't even notice. Our brains, our thoughts, even our feelings would all be playing in reverse. But because they're all reversed, they'd feel forward. We'd apologize before arguments and forget people right before they became important. You'd walk away from relationships before they ever began, not because you wanted to, but because the sequence of events demanded it. Everything would unravel. And society? That would be a slow collapse. Buildings would deconstruct themselves. Technologies would vanish. People would invent simpler and simpler tools before forgetting tools altogether. History would run in reverse. Wars would seem to resolve, then reignite. Discoveries would disappear. Art would slowly erase itself from existence, stroke by stroke. Even stranger, language would unwind. Words would become meaningless sounds. Ideas would vanish before they could be spoken. Eventually, civilization would dissolve into silence. A silent, ancient world growing younger, emptier, cleaner. All leading back to the beginning, or what we call the Big Bang. Now here's the twist, the laws of physics don't actually forbid time from running backward. Some cosmologists even believe there could be a parallel universe, on the other side of the Big Bang, where time flows in reverse. In that world, their past might be our future. Which raises a question no one can quite answer, how do we know we're not the reverse side already? After all, the arrow of time is something we experience, not something we fully understand. We assume forward because that's all we've ever known. But maybe forward is just relative. Maybe we're already moving backward. And calling it forward because that's the only way our brains can make sense of it. And here's one last thought. If time really did start running backward, would it be a nightmare, or a gift? You'd meet loved ones again. Say goodbye to your regrets before you made them. You could relive the best moments of your life, not remembering them, but re-experiencing them, step by step, until you faded into innocence. And then into nothing. A kind of second chance. Not for doing things differently, but for doing them again, in reverse. It's a strange, poetic idea. And like time itself, it's hard to wrap your head around. But that's why we explore questions like this. Here on Quicklet, we turn the strangest what-ifs into something real. So if this video made you think differently about time, even for just a few minutes, subscribe, and keep asking the questions most people never think to ask. Because sometimes, the answers are hiding. In reverse.